Welcome back. Time now for our top 3 tweets of the day. And guess what? It is on the gas price situation that we're all currently dealing with here at Akiko. And the first tweet is from none other than Elon Musk himself, if we can get that up, saying Europe should restart dormant nuclear power stations. And hopefully, it is now extremely obvious that Europe should restart these dormant nuclear power stations and increase power output of existing ones. This is critical to national and international security. And it's hard for me to argue with that. I think we've seen nuclear power, at least when I was a kid, it was a little bit dicey. We had some incidents with Chernobyl, of course, also Turkey Point, which was near me when I grew up in Miami. But in general, nuclear power, I think, has been proven safe over the last few decades. And there's really capacity in Germany that's going unused. So I'm just wondering what your views are on that, Akiko.
Well, Jared, I would sort of preface this by saying that it's considered safe in countries that don't necessarily have a lot of seismic activity, right? As we saw in Fukushima back in 2011, certainly those were conditions that were unprecedented. And yet, when you think about the debate that's playing out right now in Europe, and this is partly what Elon Musk is alluding to, we're talking specifically about countries like Germany, who, by the way, after Fukushima came out and said, we are going to shut down all nuclear power plants. That was all supposed to end by the end of this year. Prior to that closure, or the announcement of the closure, a quarter of Germany's energy was coming from that. And that's why Russian gas has become even more important in places like Germany. And there are talks here, at least in Germany, about what's going to happen moving forward, whether they can maybe prolong the life of some of these power plants. So that's one discussion we're watching really closely. Let's move on to our next tweet here, though. And that is coming from Javier Blas here, who is, of course, with Bloomberg, saying specifically the current half-hearted talks on Russian energy is a win for the Kremlin. It is still exporting and, by the way, benefiting from much higher prices. Either put the ban in place now and stop the money flow, or backtrack and let prices drop. But the halfway only benefits Putin, Jared.
Yeah, I agree with this. And it's pretty simple because let's say we get 3% of our oil from Russia. If we simply decide unilaterally that we're not going to buy Russian oil, we're going to ban the import of it, well, guess what? Somebody else is going to buy it. And oil is a fungible global commodity. So you have to shut it down, the entire payment system that is used for oil. And as Dan Dicker said earlier in the show, oil always finds a home, okay? It always finds a way to get sold somehow. But if you make it onerous enough, if you shut down access to the financial system with regard to oil payments, that's really what needs to take place, not this.
It's certainly a debate that will continue to play out, Jared, online, on our air as well. But that does it for Jared and I in this hour. Let's do a quick check of the markets here before we let you go. The Dow now down about 564 points. The NASDAQ, the biggest laggard, still down 239. And the S&P 500 down 77